A study showed your hobbies can influence the kind of place you live. I once lived in a really nice high-rise building, but I had to move. Why, you ask? Too many stoners. Get it? High-rise. I'm not writing these, I promise you. Welcome to the Listed Podcast. I'm Aubrey Palermo, your local Wisconsin and Illinois real estate broker with over 25 years of experience and lead broker to the RE/MAX Golden Girls team. Listed is all about real estate, talking real estate in Northern Illinois, Southern Wisconsin, and beyond. If you're interested in real estate in our region or in general, you've come to the right place. And starting off this episode, let's take a look at this month's national real estate news. AI is reshaping how homes are staged and marketed online. All you're hearing about is AI everywhere, right? Real estate agents are increasingly using AI to digitally furnish and digitally enhance their listing photos, creating virtual staging that can transform empty or outdated spaces in minutes. Experts say it's cost-effective, it's flexible, especially for vacant properties or remote properties, but transparency is key. Buyers need to know which photos are AI enhanced to avoid the disappointment. While physical staging still drives the strongest buyer interest, AI is becoming a valuable marketing tool, helping agents showcase properties faster and more efficiently. We at the Golden Girls team have used AI to virtually stage our properties for years. We used to have a local company that did this for us. However, they couldn't keep up with the turn, and it's hard on the house. And let's face it, it's hard on the furniture, and it's really hard on the people. We will not and do not alter the home itself. We don't want you to be disappointed when you get there. We've helped people with floor plans. We've helped people with furniture layouts so they can really get a picture of the sizes of the room and the home itself, just so you can have a better feeling for what might fit in that home. I don't want people to be disappointed when they get to the house. I don't want it to be smaller than they thought. I don't want them to walk in and the paneling was removed or some old stuff was taken out by AI. I want them to just have an idea of the size of the room. So our staging, we use a company called Box Brownie, gives people room sizes and the depth perception. So when they walk into the room, they know there was a queen bed over here, or a twin bed over here, or a king bed, or the desk fit over here, or the couch fit over here. And so we're more just trying to give people a size perception. And then in some of those floor plan layouts, helping people to know what room flows to what room, because you want to know, is the kitchen next to this room, or, is the bedroom off of the kitchen, or, something like that. So that's one of the companies that we use and have really found really good at what they do, and doesn't look AI generated. When I show those pictures to clients saying, here's the before, here's the after, they are just amazed at what that's going to look like. We want to make sure we give our properties the best foot forward in their marketing. And that way, when clients walk in and potential buyers walk in, they're not disappointed or misled. So we're here to help both sides be able to visualize where their furniture might go, but also to put the best marketing vision forward for our clients who might have an empty home, or who might have a home that, they've already moved out of, or they don't live in the area. And so we're here to make sure both sides are really well represented and not misled in either parts. Compass is poised to become the world's largest real estate brokerage in a $1.6 billion, I said a B with billion, merger. Compass announced it will acquire rival Anywhere, and Anywhere might sound like, what is that? That is a conglomerate of companies, including Century 21, Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, Real, a lot of different real estate companies all together operating under one company called Anywhere. This is an all-stock deal valued at an amount of $10 billion. The merger will expand Compass's reach to every major U.S. city and 120 different countries, creating a global real estate company with over 340,000 real estate professionals. Despite a weak U.S. housing market, Compass has thrived with a 21% increase in transactions in the last quarter. I believe a lot of this is due to the mergers they've been working on continually. This deal is expected to generate $255 million in annual cost savings and over $1 billion in additional revenue from Anywhere's franchises, their title companies, escrow companies, and their relocation operations, with this merger set to close somewhere in the second half of 2026, potentially. This will be very interesting to see how it all settles out from a real estate perspective and from somebody who's been in real estate for over 25 years. First, it has to get federal approval, which we all know how quickly any of that is happening these days. Then, will Compass keep all of these different brands and all of their different models? I know a lot of you, this is kind of getting deep into the weeds, but every real estate company has different marketing strategies, different commission strategies, different overall packages that they offer to us as realtors, whether it's tech tools, whether it's insurance, whether it's discounts, any different kinds of things. Every company is structured differently in every different franchise. And sometimes even inside a franchise, there's different options. So this is going to be really interesting from the real estate perspective to see for us to know how this is going to affect our competition. This acquisition brought Compass some brand recognition because Century 21 and Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens really have a good brand recognition, but they're very small companies that don't have the same technology. Compass has really been improving their technology over the last few years. So I would bet there will be more mergers to come, and we'll see how this all plays out, and we'll see what happens because this, next year, the year after, how's this going to go? It'll affect all of our different industries, not only from real estate, title, relocation, and all of it. You might have seen some headlines saying home buyers are canceling deals at record rates. Roughly 56,000 U.S. home purchase agreements fell through, marking one of the highest months of cancellation rates on record. Inspections and repair requests are at the top reasons these deals are collapsing. Both buyers and sellers sometimes are expecting a house to be perfect, but then a seller is saying, I don't want to do anything. So buyers are also backing out, though, due to financing issues. Sometimes FHA requirements or VA requirements, sometimes high HOA fees or issues with an HOA that doesn't have enough liquidity in their accounts has become an issue too. And so sometimes they're saying, you know what, I'm not going to go through with that. I'm not going to deal with that, kind of little bit of a mess. I'm going to go on and find a different property. Markets with more inventory like Florida are seeing the highest cancellation rates because, let's face it, they have options. With places like Nassau County, New York, where relatively low inventory still, they're pretty stable and not seeing, as many cancellations. Experts are saying that this trend reflects buyers' increased selectiveness and the higher prices. They're expecting things to be a little bit better condition and a little more move-in. The mortgage rates rising, being higher than they've been over the years also makes a difference. And the economic uncertainty, people don't want to have to, come in and fix a lot of things. With the same, sellers struggling to adjust from pandemic era sellers market, where maybe now they might need to make a little concession for some of these things, or maybe they need to make some small repairs and have a little bit of give and take in this. As this article notes, this varies widely by market. Are you in a seller's market where if the buyer cancels, there isn't another house for that buyer for another 6 months or probably even longer, however long they've been searching? Like currently, we don't have enough homes to last 2 months worth of inventory of buyers. Or, as the article mentioned, are you in a buyer's market where the number of available homes has gone up and you could go find another house and a better deal or another option with less work and with less, potential issues? Let me touch on one thing here, though. No house is perfect, not even a brand new construction home. We've had home inspections, and the home inspector's job is to go in and find things. He's going to find every single thing so you know what you're getting into. So you know that this is your honey-do list for the next 5 or 10 years of things that are going to be coming up. It's about finding these things that you didn't know about. Was there mold in the attic? Had that happen. Is there a furnace with a cracked heat exchanger? Had that happen. Is there electric issues? Had that happen. Does the roof look perfect, but it's really not? So many different things. We want to make sure that you have that home inspection and have a chance to check that stuff and be sure. And then let's talk about what's the best way to negotiate that. Is it going to be a credit? Is it going to be asking for a repair? And same on the seller side. Something you maybe didn't know about. Certainly you would have disclosed it if you did. Okay, let's talk about how we can credit for that, how we can take care of that. We'll be right back with a look at our regional market updates. We'll talk about a little more. All right, let's jump into the regional market. Freeport and Stephenson County, 81 more homes sold so far year to date, with 480 homes sold so far this year compared to 2024. Average 53 homes sold every month this year. Let me think about that now. 53 homes sold every month. There are currently only 78 homes currently for sale. So if with only 78 homes currently for sale, we are in a seller's market here still. So I know we've talked about market is different in every different area. The average sale prices are down. And you're gonna be like, wait, Aubrey, you just said we're in a seller's market, but average sale prices are down. Again, because we're comparing to last year. Are we looking at over 10 years? Are we looking at over last month? It varies. How do you want these numbers done? I did compared to last year at this time. Just a month ago, the sales prices were up from the same time last year by about 20%. So it does vary all the time. Is this why more homes have sold because prices are down a little bit? Maybe. Average sale prices right now are at 153,311. Average days on market is only 38 days. 38 days, down 5 days, with prices slightly lower, making it still a seller's market and selling faster than it was at this time last year. So we've talked about different market areas, and every market is different. Monroe and Greene County, Wisconsin have the exact same number of homes that have sold this year compared to last year. 287 homes have sold so far year to date. That's an average of 32 homes selling every month, with only 88 homes currently for sale. So again, you compare 32 homes have sold every month and only 88 homes for sale. That's barely 2.5 months worth of inventory. Average sales price is up 9%. Average sale price year to date is at $361,948. Now I know you might be thinking in your head, wait, she just told me there was an average sale price of 153. Again, markets vary even from 15 miles apart. It could be 5 miles down the road and the average prices are different. The market is different, the days on market, the comparables. So we're going to help you talk about every different local market that you're looking in. The average days on market in Monroe and Greene County, Wisconsin is 30 days, which is actually up a little bit, however, only by 4 days. So yes, homes are taking a little longer to sell, however, not a long time when we're talking about statistically averages in the market. Then a completely different market, you talk about Rockford and Winnebago County. 95 more homes have sold so far this year. Not really a lot when you talk about the thousands of homes that sell. We're at 2,357 homes that have sold so far this year compared to 2024. 260 homes selling every month in the Rockford and Winnebago County area. Average sale prices are up 7%. Average sale prices year to date is at $216,906. So kind of in between those other two markets we talked about. Average days on market is holding about the same at just 20 days on market. And for those of you that have been looking, you know that these markets I'm talking about, you see them come on the market and boom, you see them go. As you see, every market is different. Whether you're looking in Byron or Forreston or Stockton or Broadhead or Beloit, every market is different. Location. As you might have realized, the market comparable information changes daily, and it can be very confusing. You're hearing national headlines saying one thing, you're hearing local things saying another thing. We're here to help guide you through that process. We're going to take a quick break before we are joined by our community guest. Please help me welcome Vanessa Hughes, the owner and chief executive officer of Hughes Recruiting and Consulting. Established in Freeport and expanding across the Midwest, Hughes brings over 140 years of combined staffing and recruiting experience to the communities it serves. The firm specializes in connecting thousands of job seekers with hundreds of leading employers every year, creating opportunities that help individuals grow their careers while driving business success. Under Vanessa's leadership, Hughes has become a trusted regional partner, offering tailored HR solutions that strengthen the local workforce, support companies' growth, and make a meaningful impact across the Midwest. Let's give a warm welcome to Vanessa Hughes. As two women business owners who started around the same time, I wanted to hear some of your thoughts and how you got into recruitment and talent retention.
By chance.
Completely by chance.
As how I got into real estate. Life things often do. I had moved back to Freeport without an intention to stay. This is where I grew up. Was looking for a job and ended up getting hired by another woman business owner, Lorraine Logan, who owned a staffing company in Rockford and Freeport.
Okay.
So again, strictly by chance, that got into staffing industry.
Really small world, because that's how I got into real estate too. So you just never know where life's going to lead you, right?
Yeah. Opportunity knocks,
That's
you
right.
open the door.
That's right. Sometimes when things click and it all falls together, right? So what do you think has been the key to your long-term growth and sustainability, if you could put it on one or two things? Mm-hmm. I know that's a challenge.
Yeah. Just keep moving forward. I love the staffing industry, so that helps. I mean, I think those people that are seeking to find something that you're passionate about is good. I mean, it's not like I grew up thinking I would go into staffing, but as you got into it, there's a lot to the industry that I have enjoyed. And so that's made the continued work, almost 24 years of doing staffing, enjoyable.
Right.
And then I think in terms of the business growth, I'm goal oriented, so I love setting new goals for the year. We do it quarterly now. What is our next thing? What's our next step? What do we want to improve? I mean, you never lose sight of wanting to continue to improve, whether it's your operations, whether it's something you're expanding into. It's just a drive to keep moving forward.
Right. Because sometimes there's a little failing forward and sometimes there's moving forward, but just continue moving and continue growing. And right. Absolutely. How do you approach connecting the right people with the right opportunities?
We are a people-centered business, both with our candidates and our clients. So people are at the core of what we do. There is a personal touch to that. So meeting with candidates on that side of the business and understanding what they're looking for and what drives them, which, as we say, sometimes is a new career, or sometimes a level up in whatever their career is. And sometimes it's just a paycheck.
Right.
Like, that's what they need. That is part of our purpose and helping them fulfill what they need in their lives.
Right.
But those personal touches of, we interview everybody that we work with, preferably in person and most of the time in person. And so getting to know them. And then on the flip side, our clients, again, all people-centered. What is the culture of that client? What are they really looking for? And again, sometimes it's a position that's instrumental in what they do, and other times it's, I need a warm body to come and push this button, for example. So understanding what their priorities are and making sure that we're matching those two things together. Right.
And like you said, the culture and the fit of really that whole dynamic of the company or the person matching together really makes a huge difference too. I've had opportunities to work with you in the past in staffing, and there's times when it's like, well, I don't know if this person, is exactly this right role, but boy, they're a great fit for the company, and they're a great match to the dynamic in the team and, in the office and stuff. And so it's been, amazing to find just that right, connection there is huge. So.
My early days in staffing, where I was so much more frontline work and working directly with candidates and our clients, I still remember all those folks. You get to know them, and I'll run into them in the community, and I think sometimes it freaks them out because I'll be like, hey, Samantha, or, hey, so-and-so. Like, I remember their names because you become close to the people you're working with, and you care about what's happening with them. Right. And I'm more distant from that than I used to be, but you don't lose that. And we have lots of people that are frontline with the teams, and know their people intimately. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because basically you guys become the HR department. That's ideally that's the easy part, is that you are handling all of the HR. And so you're a department of that company or that entity. So
truly. And we'll say that to our clients. We want to be an extension of your HR department.
Right.
Sometimes the smaller clients don't have any HR person, so we are it.
Right.
And that is part of what, we seek to be different about in staffing. We want to be knowledgeable about all things HR and be able to be leaned on to answer those questions.
Right.
And other times they're bigger clients that have an HR department. And so we are just an extension of what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The labor market is constantly shifting. I know, as we laugh, right? What trends are you seeing in hiring across the Midwest? And right now, how is Hughes adapting to that and those changes?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about this because there has been a change to the industry, and it is in the middle of a shift. The world is always in the middle of a shift, but all people are in the middle of what is AI going to do for us? So that's the big question and the big debate. We've certainly seen over the years automation replace jobs, and so you have less entry-level unskilled jobs, which for years was our bread and butter, like high volume, a client that needs 10 or 20 people, and we don't see that anymore. That is changing. Right. I think what it's being replaced with is more skilled jobs, which could be more meaningful, but also means it's different people maybe seeking those jobs. So it'll be an interesting few years because that speed of technology is just accelerating. Yeah,
it's outpacing everything. Like I'll take a class and then 5 minutes later, it's like, okay, well now that's the old news. Now this is the new thing, and and all these things talking about all the different AI and automations and things it can do for you, and it's still learning, right? It's crazy. Yeah, and I think a lot of people too, when they think staffing companies, they just think, like you said, it's just like a factory staffing or just seasonal staffing or something. And I think that's really a huge misconception that maybe people think out there in the industry of how a staffing company is and what it does, because you guys do a lot more from like executive search, right, to, like you said, entry level.
We run the gamut. So our professional search department, she just placed an attorney, which was new for us. We'd never done something like that before. Right. So it truly runs the gamut from, very high level executive professionals. Right. Through anything, again, showing up for a body, we need somebody here to answer a phone, or to make sure this product is going down the production line. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, and I think that a lot of people, I've had friends who are, just out of high school or college or whatever. And like you said, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do and, and that stuff. I'm like, call Vanessa, call Hughes, because like you said, until you kind of figure out what you want to do, go dabble in this, go dabble in that, because there are so many different job opportunities out there, and you guys can kind of match them to, maybe what their skill set or their personality or, that kind of stuff might be better better suited for.
Yeah. Well, and as in my own experience, and it sounds like yours, and as I'm, I have a newly graduated, high school student, I'm like, sometimes you just have to take a job. It doesn't have to be a passion job. You don't know what it's going to lead you to. Right. You either learn a new skill or you see something else within the company that you're working at that is of interest to you. You just don't know. So sometimes it's just that step forward. Yep.
And sometimes it's just connecting people too. I mean, you might meet somebody at that new job that maybe introduces you to something else that, maybe you should meet this person over here and, you'd be really great at this or something else. So it is just a starting point.
Sure.
Hughes places a strong emphasis on community and local relationships. How does that commitment throughout the Midwest stage your company culture and affect your company culture and the way you do business?
Yeah, we just talked about this yesterday in this space when we did our quarterly meeting that we do with the whole company. We bring everybody together once a quarter across, all of our offices.
All your offices, wow.
The one woman up in River Falls, Wisconsin, drove 5 hours to get here. But community and being involved in the community is how I built the business. And so I attribute that strongly to those early days of how we grew a staffing in Hughes Resources at that time, and now Hughes Recruiting, going to the chamber events, attending ribbon cuttings, just being involved, being out there. Right. People want to do business with people they know. Right. We all do.
Right.
Once you develop a trust or a familiarity with somebody, it's just easier to do business with them. And so we've carried that through all of our offices. We encourage people to be involved, to join a service club, to attend events, to, sponsor and give back to area events.
Right.
And it can be a little harder, I think, in some of your larger communities. So we have an office in Aurora, Illinois, and we've just joined the chamber.
Right.
It's a big area, so harder to get to know people.
Right. Right.
But we continue to do those same steps,
Right.
To be involved.
Yeah. And just getting to meet people and getting to know people, like you said, figuring out, okay, what is the need out there and what is going on in the community and where might you be able to help and fit in and things like that. Absolutely.
The power of connection and networking isn't diminished.
No, it really does make a difference when you can pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, you might know somebody who can help me with this or can connect me with this or, find out who to talk to about this. And absolutely. So, and there's all kinds of service organizations, obviously, that always need help and, are always in need of people to volunteer their time. Absolutely. Is there a failure or a time that I call it failing forward that you would like to share that you think might help others as small businesses or as other business owners?
Yeah. Yes, we all have them. I was thinking about this, and I think my one big one is I tend to be overly optimistic. I think everything's going to work out. And it has, generally speaking, things just work out. And, even when you have a hiccup, it fails you forward to something that's better. But sometimes that may have prevented me from confronting the brutal reality, which again, Good to Great, reference that book. So I think there's sometimes you have to make sure you have you don't want to lose your optimism, your positivity, but you also need to be realistic when you're making choices. For me, that can be financial. Money has always worked out for me since the time I was a kid. I can, I make it work to do the things we need to do. And sometimes you need to pull back a little bit.
Right.
So that would be the one thing. We use the word hope a lot, or we would hear people within our business say, well, I'm hoping, that this is going to turn around. And we started saying hope is not a strategy.
Right.
So it's great. We want hope. We want positivity. Don't lose that. That is core to who we are as people. And those are the teammates that we want to work with. But sometimes you need to.
Right. That's not a business structure.
Have a more realistic strategy about how you're going to confront a certain problem.
Right. Yep. How you're going to get there. Because, if we're going to go from this to this, hope isn't just going to work. We've got to figure out something. And for me, sometimes it's the believing in people more. Like I will see the potential and the positive opportunities and the possibilities in someone. And don't want to give up on them quick enough. And sometimes I need to let go. And if they don't want it as much as I do, then it's really hard. And so I've learned that weakness in myself, weakness, so you call it, but whatever it is of, just seeing too much in someone and they don't want it as much as I do. And so that's sometimes a challenge of, especially in people business, you need to sometimes let them move on and go do something else. And because this isn't where they're supposed to be at that moment anyway. So, yep. Is there a book or a podcast or some kind of training that you've done that you felt really impacted you or your career or in your company?
Yeah, we've read some great books along the way, and we continue to. We have a reading initiative at work, and so we read a couple times a year a book that the whole company reads, and we talk about. We also do it amongst certain teams. The staffing management team or the leadership team will read something. So a couple of late, that one thing or the one thing, like what is the one thing that you can focus on that gets you ahead. So sometimes being more singularly focused, that's been impactful. The Power of Habit was a great one.
Yes.
But the one that's been the biggest impact on our business the last couple of years was reading the book Traction.
Oh, okay.
Which is EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Okay.
We read it a couple years ago. It's been out for a while, and it took all the things that we were already doing for planning and strategy within our business and simplified it and also brought it in. So we used to do this, great, big, beautiful annual strategic plan for the company. But as things happen, by mid-year, you've gone askew because things change.
Right.
And so this breaks it down into a quarterly planning.
Okay.
And we do that throughout our company now. So there's, company-wide, they call them ROCs, which are your goals for the quarter. But each department does it, each office does it. And that has really focused what we're doing, focused how we hold ourselves accountable. There's a number of components in it. It makes it very transparent. It also addresses the people issues because you have your values and you evaluate people by whatever your core values are in addition to the actual hard skills of the job.
Okay.
And it gives it a very clear way of like, is this person in the right seat?
Right.
Should they be at your company?
Right.
So that has been hugely impactful and
Awesome.
beneficial and easy to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Traction. Okay. I'll have to take a look at that because I have not read that one. The others that you mentioned, I have read and done those. And like you said, that we do that too as a team. And, we'll read a book a couple times a year and then go through it, talk about it and kind of, what are our takeaways? What are we going to put that into our goals? And, how are we going to actually implement some of that stuff? And so very good. Very good. Anything else that you'd like to share that you think, might help or impact someone as a starting business or as a,
I am all for the just jump in. It is part of my personality to just jump in, and I have a high tolerance for risk. I mean, buying the business to begin with at the age of 27, is like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Let's try that out. That. It's okay to. I guess risk failure, even though those things don't necessarily cross through my mind. Mm-hmm. As you know, a little over a year ago, I did a major acquisition and doubled the size of the business, which again, huge risk. Mm-hmm. And there's been a few points where you're like, whew, man, hope I didn't really mess things up for myself. But it's been a great learning experience. It's been a great new challenge for all of our team. And we've lost some people through that weren't excited or maybe scared off by some of these big changes.
Right.
But I think that's the fun part of life is just jump in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd agree. I think sometimes you kind of need to look at, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I mean, if it isn't successful, is that a bad thing? I mean, like, okay, we tried that, but okay, then we can pivot to something else. So, I'm maybe not quite as risk tolerant, but close, and you have to be a little bit to be doing what we do and to be doing what I'm doing for sure. And so definitely, but like you said, I think sometimes people just need to, if they found something they're passionate about, found something they're excited about, found something they're interested in, or found something that there's a need for. I'm sure you probably kind of saw that there was some staffing need and some community connection need and said, I think I can fill that. I think I can do that. So.
It's fun too, to me. When I was a kid, I grew up playing Office. I mean, truly. So that's what I feel like I'm doing now. I mean, I had a desk and I had an adding machine from the age of 8 on and some fake checks.
Did you have some spreadsheets too?
I don't think spreadsheets were quite a thing yet, though. There may have been like one of those old ledger books that you could get, that you could write some numbers in. So that's what I feel like I'm doing in a lot of ways is I'm playing what I played as a child.
Right. And isn't that a wonderful thing? You can still feel like you're 8 some days.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Well, this has been wonderful. I am so excited to get to do this and to get to interview, such a great community person. We didn't even talk about Vanessa's very involved in the community and gives back to so many things in the community, former board president for the Art Museum and just all kinds of different things. We could go on for another hour listing. So, she doesn't just say that, she believes being involved in the community is important. She really does practice that and, and gives back so much. So Vanessa, as the owner and chief executive officer for Hughes Recruiting, we are just so happy to have you here. You can check out their website at any time, hughesrecruiting.com. I know they have a Facebook page, Instagram, all the things. So give them a follow, give them a like. And if you are needing staffing or if you're not sure what you want to do when you grow up or you're, still trying to figure it out, message them, talk to them, reach out. And if you're like me in a small business who, doesn't really have an HR department, because I'm the HR department, give them a call and they'll be glad to help you and talk to you about, what your options are and what it looks like. It was such a pleasure having you. This was awesome.
Thanks, Abra. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. So my tip for you this month and my takeaway for you is failure isn't the ending. It's a different beginning. I've had many failures, but I didn't quit and I learned. I'm sure you've heard me say, it's failing forward. We all have to do it to get there. Thank you so much for listening. It means so much to us. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here today, be sure to like and follow the listed podcast wherever you get your podcast.